All right, gang. Here is an opportunity to get your hands on a Cognoscenti Q, aka the COG, COG. Handcrafted, built to near perfection, as close as you're going to get when it comes to the craftsmanship, the construction, and every aspect of Q building by the world famous, legendary man, myth, and legend himself, Mr. Joey Gold, our good friend Joey Gold, the Q maker from Chicago that makes these incredible playing cues. Joe's cues are never, ever, ever easy to get your hands on. Those of you that know, you can comment here on this posting about how good they play. In my opinion, COG cues are in a league of their own when it comes to the playability. I'm not going to say that they're the best playing cue in the world. Many people will say that because when it comes to the playability, the hit, the balance, all of these things are preference. But I will tell you one thing that is undeniable. COG cues are known all over the world as being extremely, extremely good playing cues. And again, some people will tell you that they play the best. That's always subjective. You have some people that like Southwest, some people that like stainless steel jointed cues, but those that are in the COG club seem to always stick around. I do collect these. I have the pleasure of occasionally going to the shop to see Joe Gold. I don't get up there enough. He's always a busy man. I don't know what his current wait time is right now to pick up a COG, but I know that it's definitely not easy because he has a very extensive wait list and he's always working on really, really big cues. Some of the cues that he's made, when you look at how he does the inlays with gold, hence Joe Gold, he actually does use real gold in some of his cues. And then you have in this case here where he utilized real silver. So a few things I want to point out to you here real fast, okay? And as you guys can tell, I think the world of Joe Gold, I think the world of his cues, and I love the way they hit. That's my personal preference. I just love playing with cogs. Okay, so what you have here, this is what we like to call fire Cocobolo, because it kind of looks like it's got that burnt look to it. It's really beautiful. If you look at it close, it's got all different types of red, almost like an orange, black. Really, really, really nice, what we like to call fire Cocobolo. I bet that's probably Mexican Cocobolo. So you have 5 floating points in the forearm or the nose of the cue. So you've got 5 of his famous signature COG floating points with that design at the bottom. And at the end of each one of those points, you can barely see it, okay, right there, but there is actually silver inlaid into the top of each point. Now, I've actually had the pleasure of watching Joe work before. He uses tools that literally would favor something that you would see a master level jeweler using. And he can get little teeny tiny pieces of silver in places that you couldn't even dream of. Now, if you notice, in between each point, you have a white oval. Now, in this particular case of this cue right here, this is another rarity. That is a natural white joint. You're not going to find very many cogs out there that have that, okay? He doesn't build with that anymore. Natural white joint, natural white ovals in between. And then if you notice, inside of each of the ovals, you also have an ebony design inlay, and then ultimately right in the middle right there, you have a very almost microscopic I'm joking, it's not that small, but boy, that is a tiny piece of silver. When you spin one of these on under the lights here, it just illuminates. You can see that silver. Look at that right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These are his signature railroad track rings, of course, starting at the joint. You've got them above the wrap, below the wrap, and then down by the butt cap. The butt cap also is natural white, okay? There is a couple of imperfections I want to point out to you. You guys know that we're all about under-promising and over-delivering. You've got a very small chip here. There's a mark right there. But other than that little chip right there, which could easily be repaired, by the way, other than that, as I'm looking at the cue, there are no dents, no dings, no scratches. The finish is what we call one that looks like glass. That means that it's got a beautiful shine to it. You can see how nice and smooth that cue rolls. And what you're going to find, you could take a cog that's been stored somewhere properly for 20 or 30 years or whatever the case is, okay? And you roll that on the table, and I would submit to you that that cue, as long as it hasn't been through some insane weather conditions or drastic humidity changes, that cue is going to roll and spin, roll like butter, smooth like butter right on the table. That is part of his master level construction process, the way that he builds his cues internally. You've got an additional 5 ebony points in the bottom here, floating points with the same design. It's going to mirror the forearm of the cue. The other thing you're going to notice about a cog, everything is what we call laser straight. I mean, everything's going to line up as perfect as you can get it. There's no such thing as a perfect cue or perfect work. But when you're dealing with one of Joe Gold's, you're going to get about as close as you're going to get. In other words, look how perfect everything just lines up. Surgical quality, I'm telling you right now. Look at that Cocobolo in the butt sleeve as well. This is the cog pin. If you don't know, you need to do some research. He's got his own pin, of course. And there's no other pin that's just like it. That is the G10 cog pin right there. Let me give you another look at this beautiful cue. This is actually a stock factory, all originals, what I should say. That's the terminology I'm looking for, because it is a custom-made cue. What I mean by stock or factory, there's no factory making the cues, only Joe Gold in his hands. But he installs linen wraps on his cues. That's how all of his cues come standard. If you want a leather wrap, you're going to pay through the roof for it, and he really doesn't even like to put them on. Joe likes black and white linen wraps. So that is a all original cue. The wrap area has not been tampered with, other than those couple of little things that I pointed out. The cue's in really, really, really clean overall condition. Butt weight 14.5 ounces. You could add weight if you want to. The one maple shaft is 12.7 ounces, 3.3. The other one is 3. You've got another maple shaft that is 3.5. So one 3.7, one 3.5. The one that's 3.5 is actually 13.25. What's interesting is the way that he does his taper, even though it's 13.25, it actually just feels like a 13 millimeter. So there you go. This is an opportunity to get a gorgeous cog cue made by Mr. Joe Gold that has a natural white joint, natural white butt cap, and is guaranteed, I'm telling you right now, a money-back guarantee. If you get this and you don't think that it is absolutely one of, if not the best hitting cue that you've ever personally hit a ball with, give me a call, send it back. I might not even relist it. I might keep it. I'm known to hoard some cog cues. There you go, Cognoscenti by Joe Gold. It's going to be hitting the website soon, crossroadcues.com. If you need some financing, check out the financing options. If you buy it, we can get it shipped to you lightning fast. No overseas shipping, no exceptions. Thanks for taking a peek. crossroadcues.com.